So I've got some updates for the ProffieOS4 library. First up is I've added new transitions for the localized lockup capability. So transitions are added before or after effects to kind of just enhance them. A lot of times they're quick, but as you'll see in the demo, just changing the transition you have can actually create a very cool looking variation on a blade. So I'm going to have more added. I'm also looking at transitions on other things, but I started out with the lockup because I had a request a while back. Back in OS3, I created the power ripple, and that kind of disappeared when I moved over to the responsive stuff. So I wanted to get that back in. And what I've done is I've also taken all of the transitions for the lockup, and I've made them responsive, so they react to everything that the lockup does. So what the transitions are, particularly related to the lockups and the other effects, is before or after an effect happens, it's kind of a transition from normal blade to the effect, and then a transition back out. And they're meant to just be kind of like, it's like a, kind of like a little bit of flair, a little bit of enhancement, but it really creates realism. So I'm starting with the lockup end. For the begin lockup right now, they're all going to be the flash. That's similar to the films. When the blades first meet, there's a giant white flash, and then you get your lockup section. So you'll see that on all of them. Long term, I have plans to make all the transitions built out, but just as a starting point, there's going to be 4 variations for lockup end. That'll be chosen in the enhancement screen. So let me demo it. So when I first do lockup, you're going to see the quick flash to the entire blade. That's intentional. Then you'll get your localized lockup, and this is responsive, so it moves with the angle of the blade. But then when I let it go, I'm going to show all 4 variations of the end lockup transition that you can choose. So this first one, this is absorb, and this is what's been pretty much the default for OS4. I tweaked it just slightly, but so this is the effect. So you're going to have your lockup, so that quick flash, and I've got my lockup in this response to the angle of the blade. And then when I let it go now, this one's going to do an absorb. So you see that quick absorb of the power, and the absorb is over the whole length of the blade. The center section where the main lockup was fades a little bit slower, so that'll stay prominent, and then the rest of the blade gets kind of a quick white fade out. So I'll show that one more time. So that one is absorb, and then this one is going to be Dissipate, and this one is a very different transition. So instead of the whole blade being affected, wherever that lockup section is, when you let it go, it's actually going to split the effect and send it up and down the blade. It dissipates over the distance of the blade. So it's a different distribution of that lockup power. The idea being, when you're crossing blades, that lockup section is bright because of the power of the 2 blades coming together. When you release that lockup, that power has to go somewhere. So this is just a different variation. But you'll see it looks different, the end result, because it's a different transition. So you get your lockup, and then that one now split out. So that is the Dissipate, and I'll show it again so you can see what's happening. So that's Dissipate, and then I've got 2 more.
Prepare a boarding party.
So this one is the power ripple. So this has been updated for OS4. This one has a bunch of power rippling up and down the blade from the center location, and it's built with responsive, so it will respond to where that location is as you move your blade. And then when you let lockup go, you get that ripple up and down the blade. So it's a little bit more pronounced than the Dissipate because it lasts over the whole blade, whereas Dissipate fades as it moves away. So it's just a variation. You can also adjust timings and everything. But one more time for power ripple. So that's the power ripple. I've got gesture controls on too, I keep forgetting. And then this one, this is a burst. So this one is kind of the reverse of what happens when you first lock up. When you first lock up, you get the white flash into localized. This one goes from localized back into a white flash and then away. So this is kind of just taking what happens in the beginning of lockup and mirroring it to the end. And again, you can adjust the time, but that's meant to be that quick release of power. It's going to flash white again. So instead of a effect, this affects the whole blade, and then it fades back out. And again, all the transition times are adjustable. If you want it to be quicker, longer, more pronounced, you can control all that. But so this is the starting point. There's going to be the 4, and it's in the enhancement screen under your main blade lockup. You're going to have now the option for the Lockup End Transition. And then those are your 4 options, and you can play around with them, see how they look, see which ones you like, and just adding one or taking it away makes for a different blade for you. So hope you enjoy.